decades, since 1965, 28% of homicides in our state remain unsolved. Each case comes with a story, a family, a mystery.
Tonight, we premiere a new King 5 special series focusing on those cases in the pursuit of truth. This is Unsolved Northwest.
Reporting for King News Service.
From the truest mysteries of our time.
And so the second day after it occurred, this still remains the most mysterious skyjacking in the Northwest.
D.B. Cooper, who hijacked a 727 jet plane out of Portland, Oregon on Thanksgiving Eve, 1971.
To the notorious crimes of the Northwest.
But something was new, the name Ted.
They premeditated design or intent to effect the death of said Lisa Lee. My chance to talk to the press. Contrary.
And the cases that have gone cold.
3 men burst into the business. Their motive was robbery, but it soon turned into murder.
Unsolved Northwest is digging through the King 5 archives to help uncover the truth.
The name of the robbery suspect has not been released.
And up to now, we hadn't heard about any arrests.
No.
Many unsolved cases are solvable. Maybe you know the very tip that could help crack the case.
I'm Madison Wade.
I'm Steve Solis.
And I'm Sebastian Robertson.
This is Unsolved Northwest. We're a team of journalists dedicating time to help put a spotlight on the cases that are unsolved in the Pacific Northwest.
Thousands of cases.
We're talking crimes that date back decades.
We're talking murder cases, missing persons cases.
And the hope is that a lot of times that light that we shed on those cases can actually uncover secrets that have been hiding for, at times, decades.
When multiple groups started to track unsolved cases, they started to look at 1965 to 2019.
There are nearly 3,000 unsolved homicides here in Western Washington.
There are 28% of homicides that are unsolved.
28%.
And that's a problem because that means there are a lot of families who still don't have closure.
Ryan Backman founded Project Cold Case.
And they essentially dive deep into the data surrounding these cases all over the country.
The national clearance rate is somewhere in the low 60%. So you think about that, that's almost 40 out of every 100 murders in the United States that go unsolved.
That's a lot of people who got away with murder.
It's a whole lot of people that got away with murder. I think most people don't realize how many cases do go unsolved. It's just a scary thought when you think of all those people out there that have not been held accountable for their actions.
Thousands of victims don't have justice. Thousands of family members are left waiting for answers.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
We'll do the absolute best we can.
Nothing's live. And then James, can you introduce yourself as it pertains to the stories?
I am James, and I am Autumn's father.
James, tell us about Autumn.
Loss is one part of it. Family members are every day praying that there will be a phone call with some sort of answer that could bring some sort of closure.
There's a lot of responsibility that comes with covering these cases.
That's a really delicate situation to be in.
Earning a family's trust is the biggest part of this for me.
You quickly find out that this case never left their mind, never left their heart.
We're going to be making sure that these victims are remembered and their story is told.
And that's the power of what we do day in, day out.
After the name Ted was printed and broadcast, there were no more disappearances here.
If the skyjacker was lucky enough to survive that jump, reporting for King News Service.
In Tacoma, I'm Joyce Taylor.
This
is Unsolved Northwest.
It's been 1,084 days since I lost my daughter.
I don't know if I can do this.
Because you can solve the case by getting out there.
It's whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
I just don't even know where to start.
My name is Charity Rush, and I am Autumn Stone's mother.
I am James, and I am Autumn's father.
James, tell us about Autumn. What about her brightened up your life?
Everything. She's just very caring and loving and giving, and she just had the purest heart. She was 23, just barely 23. It started off a really, really good day. Going to Green Lake that day, she had came to me the day before and she said, you know, I'm gonna go do this. She was super excited. You know, she was gonna have a mommy day. She was gonna go and get her a pedicure. As far as I know, she was going alone.
And I go back to the phone call.
I got a phone call at 9:45.
The phone call that I got at 10 o'clock, August 30th.
From the Seattle Medical Examiner's office.
I don't know how to put into words what it's like to lose your daughter.
They found my daughter with, you know, shoelaces around her neck, and her sweater was zipped up over the shoelaces. They have no proof. They have nothing saying that there was any foul play there. There's just no way. There's no way.
I don't believe even the slightest bit that she took her own life.
She was engaged to be married. I could show you pictures. She was just so happy.
But you can just see her, you know, she was just super happy and just full of life.
In January of 2020, when we initially learned that the case had been closed as a suicide, we reached out to Brent because we were not getting anywhere with the police.
But yeah, so this is the year right now. So she walked here. A lot of time for somebody to see her if she was with somebody. Her shoes were found here.
Mm-hmm. Were the shoes found over here missing shoelaces?
Yeah, they were the same shoelaces that came with the shoes. We went to the manufacturer. Her vest had been zipped up and she had been put in the water. How did she zip up her vest if she had been unconscious? It just doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense.
How many times do you come out here?
Oh. Too many. I just look for answers. I don't have any.
There's enough evidence that he's found that it gave us the ability to go back to the police and say, look, we need to open this case again. And that's what they did.
Autumn Stone's parents tell me they believe she was murdered. When I reached out to Seattle PD for insight on this case, I was told it's an open case and they couldn't release any information as it pertains to their investigation. My most recent inquiry to Seattle PD went unanswered.
This is our file that we've been keeping. It has anything and everything related to my daughter's death. I don't believe that it was a random act. I think it was an act of passion and it was to silence her. And unfortunately, she's a statistic at this point, and I'd like to change that.
What do you think will break this case open?
DNA. I do.
I struggle with it every day.
Yeah, it's hard. The pain doesn't go away, you know. We just want answers.
But even then, it's going to be something I deal with every day for the rest of my life.
Police say at about 7 p.m., 3 men burst into the business. Their motive was robbery, but it soon turned into murder.
It was one of those scenes you don't forget because there's wailing involved.
The store's been ransacked, the cash register and stuff like that. It appears that it's been a robbery that went bad.
You know, my recollection is that the cash drawer is ajar. He's down, obviously injured. Plenty of people helping him already. But the main thing for me is to preserve what possible evidence we have. You never forget it. It's reverberating out of the store, into the alley, and it's just a sound that you never, ever forget. Because you know that's the sound of guttural human pain. You know, when you know your community, they always say you're more connected to your community, and that was the case with Min Grocery.
In 1995, Man is in his 30s, and he says that immediately he was very confident that Kim's killer would be caught. The problem he describes is that witnesses immediately went quiet. Nobody wanted to talk to police.
This is just terrible.
Very nice gentleman, very polite.
Two types of people: those who love the police and won't talk to them, and those who hate the police and won't talk to them.
The Kim family was very well known in what was then referred to as the Tacoma-Portland Avenue corridor. Min Grocery is still there today. The old sign is still there. It is under new ownership. As we found out, it's a family that over the last couple of decades had at least 2 bouts with very serious crime.
The name of the robbery suspect has not been released.
I cocked a gun and my mom pointed to the guy that was driving away. That's when I fired.
That's 15-year-old Min Kim, Jung Nam Kim's son. He's speaking to King 5 in 1988. That's 7 years before his father is murdered. Pretty amazing story. The teenager, he actually stops a robbery in progress. His mother was tending to the store when armed men came in. He grabbed his father's rifle, chased them out of the Min Grocery store, shooting and hitting one of the robbers.
I feel that I did the right thing. My mom was out there and the guy had the gun out the window, so she would probably got hurt if I wasn't out there.
Store regulars, men and women that knew the Kim family, will tell you that not much has changed since the mid-'80s, the '90s. They say that the neighborhood is pretty much the same.
Everybody's getting murdered and not getting investigated these days. It's like nobody cares anymore.
It's gotten worse. It's gotten, I mean, only in Tacoma. What goes on here stays here, but it's gotten worse here.
King 5 made several attempts to contact the Kim family about this case, though their silence makes it clear that they want to move on and close this chapter. Yeah, just the introduction one more time. Okay. For Man, though, who was one of the first police officers on scene, it's clear that this case is very much still alive in his dreams and in his nightmares.
It's just horrible to see a hardworking family make a business succeed, and then to have these street-level creatures take that all away from them. It's the opposite of the so-called American dream.
At February 15th of this year, it was 45 years.
It's been said, time heals all wounds.
It's been many years since we drove down that road.
And Fred Wills will tell you that is not the case.
He was a a guy from Mississippi, fought in World War II in the Philippines. He thought of his family a lot.
Let's go back in time. February 15th, 1977. The place? The house in Woodinville, where Fred and his family called home.
We moved to that house in '67. From what I know, at the time my father, he told us the day before, he says, you know, I get these phone calls from people and I pick up the phone and there's nobody there. They hang up. And they figure that my dad got up that morning, went out to get the mail, and while he was doing that, they called and there was no answer. All of a sudden the door gets knocked down, and unfortunately he got his gun out, and then they ended up having a confrontation.
Our Unsolved Northwest team asked the King County Sheriff's Office for more information, and what we received was a picture of the house and a short synopsis of the crime. We needed more.
I mean, we're here at University of Washington Library, which has a pretty extensive collection of microfilm, because there's not a lot about this case. It's one of the older ones that we are covering on Unsolved. I think this is probably the most comprehensive article of the very few that we found.
So it took 10 minutes for them to figure out where the call was coming from before they can get there. Detective with King County, at the time King County Police Department, mentions Lieutenant Richard Kraske.
Yes, I joined the Sheriff's Department in February of 1961 and stayed there until March of 1990. In the 1970s, of course, we didn't have DNA. We had blood spatters, probably fingerprints. You had to methodically go by hand through the files, big old filing cabinets, and card by card, trying to find somebody that would match the fingerprint.
So I'm doing the story on the Billy Wills homicide. Why do you think this case is still sitting there unsolved?
Well, it's still sitting there along with about, I don't know, what, 2,400 other cases in Washington State that are still open cases, unsolved cases. When's the last time, go back to some of those cases, when was the last time it was checked if it's a closed case?
When was the last time you heard from an investigator of any kind?
Probably 3 years ago. They're constantly trying new things.
Unless you got a cold case squad that's a specific assignment, that thing probably hasn't been tested since the day it was put in the file.
7%. It's not a good number. Most in Western Washington don't have a cold case unit.
I know everybody has a problem trying to get information on those cases, which I think is a disservice. I really do.
From what the police have told me, I mean, there are things that happen that they are not telling anyone. Have a good day, gentlemen.
It's been 45 years since Fred lost his father.
Like I told the police, I kept my same phone number when I left there so that they knew how to get a hold of me.
Even after so much time has passed,
they may not ever find who did it.
This wound still hurts.
Most likely the people that did it are gone, but it would be nice to answer some questions in our minds that bug us every day.
This is a nonsense crime because Linda was very devoted to her family. She took good care of all of us.
You know, them poor babies, I feel sorry for them. That's the reason why I bought flowers over here this morning.
And we don't know why it's happened. And we want to know who it is. We want some justice to be done.
We grew up together, and I mean, she was pretty much my best friend until she was taken away from me. Linda was incredibly amazing. She came over here as a little girl from Vietnam.
Was a very lovely daughter. The time she born, I jump up and down because I'm so happy. My daughter is a good person. She's treating people right.
Her children were everything to her. Austin was only 22 months old at the time. Patricia was 9. Linda was 26 and she was pregnant. And then this one, do you have this one, Uncle?
Memories of Linda Tran and her children live on in this house.
And every time we talk about this subject or Linda, we should have happy thoughts, and we are happy when we get to think about them, but we know that the end result isn't there. Like, we have no closure.
Her family is searching for answers.
Anybody knows anything? I mean,
They've been searching for more than 20 years.
And we don't know why it's happened.
We talked a lot, and she never once had mentioned feeling threatened.
It was a Friday night, December 18th, 1998, a week before Christmas. Linda Tran and her 2 children abruptly left her father's home.
She had rushed home because she'd gotten a phone call saying, "Hey, I'm at your house and I have Christmas presents for the kids."
Linda never said who called.
And after that, she went home with somebody waiting for her.
That was the last time her family saw her alive.
Detective Yerbury?
Yeah.
I'm good. Madison.
Hi, Madison.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Thanks for your time.
Sure. I'm going to guess it was about right here.
Right where we're standing.
Yeah. Well, when I arrived, the fire was under control.
And there was fire engines out in front of the house.
Medical people, police personnel.
Numerous TPD officers out front.
A very chaotic scene. It was getting dark. It's in December. The blast was very violent, very, very powerful. The witnesses heard some yelling and some shouting. A short time after that, the suspect was seen running from the back of the house. House exploded.
Whoever this was knew Patricia, knew Austin, and lured them in with Christmas gifts.
Another possible avenue to explore here. What happened to Linda the night before she was murdered?
And she had called me it was probably at 8 o'clock at night. She'd just gotten home, again, just from her parents' house. And she said that the back window was broken. So at that time, we just figured it was just some kind of random, attempted burglary or something.
But is it possible that there's a connection there?
Of course, yeah, there certainly is a possible that somebody wanted to send a message, somebody wanted to go in and lay in wait.
You read through these case files recently. What stood out to you?
The young children.
Do you think this is a solvable case?
Absolutely.
What makes you think that?
Like I said, there is somebody that knows something. I believe that this was not just random. It comes down to somebody talking.
Is there somebody out there that is incredibly evil to do such a thing and then live with it for 24 years?
So we need somebody to help me, help my family to find out who did it.
We need closure for the family.
If I could have one wish, that would be the wish.
If anybody knows anything, I mean, just for the sake of 2 children and
These cases are a fraction of the nearly 3,000 unsolved murder cases in Washington. The Unsolved Northwest team is speaking with victims' families and detectives, and we're digging through archives in hopes of shedding light on these cases. But we need your help. Missing persons cases, murders, other mysteries are solvable, and you might have the piece of information that leads to answers. Scan the QR code on your screen to read all the stories in the series. And while you're there, you can also suggest a case we should look into, or you can leave us a tip.